Do you ever feel like everything's broken in Canada? I mean, here we are. Most beautiful place in the world, beautiful British Columbia, the Pacific, the Vancouver skyline, and another tent city. In that tent city are people hopelessly addicted to drugs, putting poisons in their bodies. They've probably lost their homes, their families. They've lost control of their lives, and they might lose their lives altogether. Just today we learned that British Columbia is on track to have over 2,000 drug overdose deaths this year alone. That is a 300% increase from 2015 when Justin Trudeau took office. These are Canadian citizens who are losing their lives. They could be your sister, your brother, your daughter, your son. They could even be your parents. This can happen to anyone. Many people got hooked on these drugs by taking them first as medications and then increasing their dosage and eventually becoming outright addicts. It's not just crack cocaine and methamphetamines, but it's opioids that are in the same family of drugs that are often prescribed or overprescribed. But the addictions that we see that have terrorized these people and our communities, they are the result of a failed experiment. This is a deliberate policy by woke, Liberal, and NDP governments to provide taxpayer-funded drugs, flood our streets with easy access to these poisons. This has been tried, not just in Vancouver, but in places like Los Angeles, Portland, Seattle, San Francisco, and always with the same results. Major increases in overdoses and a massive increase in crime. Here in Canada, under Justin Trudeau, we've not only had this 300% increase in overdose deaths in British Columbia, but across Canada, violent crime has increased by 32%. We should have expected this because every time this experiment has been tried, it has resulted in exactly the same outcome. But there are solutions. We know what works. First and foremost, we need to put the resources into bolstering our borders to keep the precursor ingredients that go into making these drugs out of the country. Second, we need to bring in tougher laws for the violent reoffenders and the gangsters and organized criminals who are preying upon these addicts. Look, I believe, like anyone, that a young person who makes a mistake should get a second chance, but we're not talking about that here. We're talking about hardened, repeat, violent offenders or organized criminals that are devoted to a life of crime and preying on innocent victims. And finally, and most importantly, we need to stop using tax dollars to fund dangerous drugs under the so-called and ironically named idea of safe supply. There is no safe supply of these drugs. They are deadly, they are lethal, and they are relentlessly addictive. Giving people more of these drugs will not free them from their addiction. It will only lead to their ultimate death, as we have seen over the last several years that it has been tried here in Vancouver. Instead, we should put that money into recovery and treatment, detox programs that bring the addict into a facility, help them remove the poisons from their bodies, give them counseling, and help them fix the problems, the underlying psychological problems that got them addicted in the first place. This treatment has been proven to work. In Alberta today, they've managed to cut overdose deaths by almost half by getting people into recovery. It's possible. There is hope to give people back control of their lives. That should be our purpose. This has failed, but there is hope that we can turn these cities around and save the lives of our fellow citizens. Let's put them back in control of their lives here in Canada. Like I said, it feels like everything's broken in Canada. The good news is we're going to fix it.